Okay, then since we successfully configured the React navigation, so then what we need to do, we need to move on to the login container. So let's have a look first. So this is the exact design that we're gonna create. Okay, it's having a background image and it's having this nice class morphic division. Inside that we have this field, and you can see we have some different kind of fields over here. We have two different buttons, sign in and sign in with Google. So we need to create all these stuffs first. So to go with the images, so you can have these images in the description over there. So assets, inside the assets we have all the icons and images which is necessary for this particular thing, this project. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me go to the Tailwind config first. We need to configure this Tailwind configuration.js because config.js, because I do have a lot of custom classes for the width and the screens. I customized it a lot inside the extent. So here inside this, if you want to customize the colors, you need to go to the colors, then you need to create your own colors and all those things. So let me copy paste it for time being, and then I'll share this code in the description so that you can copy and paste it by yourself. So let me copy it from there to there. Oops. Copy and paste it. So these are the custom styles which I created for the width, height, minimum width, screens, and these are the colors that we're going to use it inside this entire project. So let's save the changes. All right, so let's close this, and now let's get back to the login container. So let's start writing. Let's go to the login container. Here we go. So let me navigate to the login container by myself. So here, change this to login. Now we are inside the login. So let's get back to here, and this division is going to take the complete screen height. So w screen height screen, and then the position is going to be relative position, and overflow should be hidden. So we're hiding the overflow, and the direction is going to be flexible. That means it's a row direction. So inside this, first what we're going to do is we're going to load the background image. That's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to say background image. So we need to bring that assets into our we need to bring all these images into our file. So let me bring this to my desktop over here, and now all these images needs to be done over here. So let's create an assets folder inside the source folder, new folder, assets. Inside the assets folder, I'm going to create a new folder called images img, and inside the assets folder, I'm going to create one more file that is for index.js. All right, so now let's bring that data over here. Let me copy all these images and let me put it inside the images folder. Cool. And now what we need to do is we need to export all these images. So let's go to the index.js, and here what we need to do is, you can have this, you can see that is an index.js. These are the codes. This is the code that we need to put it inside the, basically what we are doing, we are exporting every single images from here. That's it. We are not doing much more than that. We are just exporting them so that we can use it inside. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to put it over there, which is coming from img folder. Make sure that you're using the same folder. So I exported every single images from this images folder. Cool. Save the changes, then close this. We don't need that. And now what we need to do, we need to use that background image which we exported. That's basically the file called login.bg. Okay, so here I'm going to use that. So I'm going to say image, and then we can use that source, and I'm just going to say login.bg. It's not showing, so let's import it manually. Import from /assets. So here we're going to use it as login.bg, and we're going to say login.bg, And the class name is going to be, basically it's going to occupy the complete screen height and width. So width full, height full, object cover, and the position is going to be absolute position. There we go. Now it's taking the complete width and height. So this image should always be top left corner. So top left 0. Now it will be always in the top left corner. Cool. Then what we need to do, all we have to bring this nice division in the left side. Let's go ahead and do that now. So right after this image, we're going to bring that content box. So to bring this content box, what we need to do is, let's create a division first. Division. And let's bring the class name. Class name, it's equals flex column, item center, and we're going to use the BG light overlay color, which I already have. I'm going to use that light overlay color. And now let's see what's the output. Nothing is happening because we haven't fixed the width and height for this login. So what we can do is, basically for mobile screen, it's going to occupy the complete screen. It's going to occupy not complete screen. It's going to take the 80% of the screen size. So 80%. But from the medium device onwards, that means the medium tab devices onwards, the width is going to be 408 pixels. Okay, height, of course, it's going to be full. Save the changes. Still nothing is there. Why? Its reason is because this image is on the top of that division. So first we need to bring that to the top of it. So C10. Now you can see we have that white layer. So what we need to do is, now we need to make it a little bit blur so that we'll get this glass morphic effect over there. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to say backdrop filter. Whatever the area is dropping behind that, so I'm going to blur it. So backdrop blur medium. Now you can see we have that nice glass morphic effect over here. So then what we're going to do is, I'm just going to add some padding effects and all those things. So basically we're going to say padding should be in all the corners. It should take that 4 points. And then in the left side, it should take px, it should take 4 more extra, and py, it should take 12. These are just trial and error. So when once you added the images and all those things, it will start from this exact position like this. See, we have this space and we have this space like this. So these are just a trial and error. You should adjust these things until you feel satisfied. Okay, so let me enable the word wrap so it will not go beyond this screen. Okay, so now what we need to do is, next thing is over here, I need to bring this logo section. So let's bring that logo section over there. Okay, so what we need to do that, so we need to use the logo which we're having in our images file. So let me expand this division inside. First we need to bring that logo section. So let's say top logo section. So here I'm going to bring that, so division. So basically this division is going to be a flex, and every item should be aligned in the item center, and it's going to be aligned in the starting position. If you notice that every items over here, it's aligned in a center for each object, and it's starting from the starting point over here, not in the center. So we use the justify content start. All right, so then that should be some gap between two different objects. That's the reason. And of course it's going to occupy the complete width which is available. We need to load the image. Let me bring the logo image, which is from our assets. Then class name, I'm just going to fix the width is going to be 8. I'm not going to give any other extra styles. Paragraph, and then here we're going to say that class name is going to be we're going to display the city text over there. Let's see how it looks like this. We need to adjust this city. So what we can do for the class name for your city, let's say text heading color. Okay, then font semi bold, then text 3XL. I think this is more than enough. All right, so let's change this to 3XL to 2XL. That looks pretty awesome, right? So we finished this top section. Then we need to move on to this welcome text over here. We need to bring that welcome text. So let's go ahead and bring that welcome text. So right after this division, what is that? We need to bring the welcome text. So here we're gonna add that welcome text. So basically that welcome text is just a paragraph tag. So class name, which is going to be text 3XL in size, which is literally big, and font semi-bold, and text, it's going to be the heading color, and it's going to say welcome back. All right, then what we're going to do, I'm just going to say paragraph. Here I'm just going to say sign in with following. For the time being, I'm just going to keep this text as a sign in with following. Later, what we need to do is, if the user is in the login screen, then we need to display sign in. If the user clicks the create an account, this should change to sign up. So we need to change these things according to a state. So that we will do it later. So for the time being, we'll just keep it as a sign in itself. So here I'm just going to say text XL. Then what we need to do, we're going to say text color or center text color. Then what we need to do is we need to bring this a little bit to a top. Okay, we're gonna move this a little bit top so that we can keep it very close with each other, just like that. So what we can do is, let's adjust the margin top to 6 points, and let's see how close it. Nope, that is completely closer. So what we can do is, I think I missed one style in this division. Basically here I added a gap. The gap between the object is 6. Now we can see it is too wider. So what we can do is, we can add a margin top for this, like -mt6. Now that will bring it over here. So that's perfect now. So then, since we successfully finished this this section, then we are moving back to the input section. So let's go ahead and create a layout first. This is going to be for your input section. So what we need to do is to create a division over here, division, and this division is going to have a class name. Basically it's going to be your complete width, so width full, and of course it's going to be flex, and every item should be aligned in a column direction in the center. So flex column. If you notice that, because these each and every divisions over here, it's a separate component, so they are loaded in a column direction one after another. That's the reason we are using flex column. An item center, justify center, each object have some space between them, so let's go with gap 6. And padding also is there, px. If you notice that we have some padding compared to here, we have extra more padding over here, so px 4. Then for that's for the mobile devices, but for the medium devices, from the medium device it should be px12. Okay, then py4. Cool. Now we don't need this. Save changes. Here you can't see anything so far because we haven't created that component. So now what we need to do is, we need to create that login input component. Okay, so we're gonna create that login input component so that we can reuse that component for multiple purposes. Okay, so let me stop this particular context here. Then the next thing, we're gonna create a custom component for our login text. That's what we're gonna create text. Okay, then. So since we finished this layout, now we need to create this input field. Basically this is going to be a reusable component. So what we need to do is, let's create a new folder inside our source folder called components. Let's go here, new folder, let's name that as components. And inside here, I'm going to create one more file, that is login input.jsx, and I'm going to say as array_fce. Okay, so this inside this components folder, we're going to have a multiple file. So of course we're going to create the index.js, and here I'm going to export this file as export default as login input from /login in. So now we exported it. Now I can use this inside the login container right over here. So I'm going to bring that login input from the components. Make sure that is imported from the components. So we successfully added that customly created components over there. Now what we need to do is we need to fix what are the fields that it's going to be. You can see it's having an icon and it's having a placeholder, and we need to get the value whatever we are typing through this field, so that we need a state and a state function. So and then we need to define what kind of type it is, because this is a text email type and this is a password type. See, it's a password type, so we need to define what kind of type it is. So we need 5 different inputs. Okay, and of course we need one more thing, whether it is sign up or sign in, because if it is sign in, you need to display 2 fields. If it is sign up, you need to display only 1 field. So that's the case. So we need like 5 to 6 different inputs, right? So that's the thing, we're gonna do that. So let's go ahead and create that. So over here, I'm going to define the, let me save this and let's see how exactly it's affecting. Okay, it's loaded over here. So now what we need to do is here, I'm going to create a properties for this complete application. So for this complete component. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here we're going to create those properties. So let me expand those properties tab. So basically we're going to supply the properties over here inside these curly brackets. So what are the properties that we needed? We need the placeholder, first one. Of course, we need a placeholder. Then we need the icon, that's going to be another property. Then we need to get the state value like email or password, whatever it is, we need to collect it and we need to put it inside the state. So let's name that value property as input state. And when it comes to state, that should be a state function also. So let's say input state function. Then we need the type, what exact type it is. And then we need to make sure whether it is sign up or sign in. So is sign up, because if it is a sign up, of course I need to validate the user email. If it is a sign up, then I need to validate the user email, because before creating an account we need to make sure that our email is valid or not. So that's the reason. So we are having these properties. So let's save the changes and now go here, and here we need to supply all those fields. So let's supply one by one. Let's apply the placeholder. Placeholder is going to be email here. All right, then we need to supply the icon. For the time being, I'm just keeping the icon field as empty. Then we need to supply the input state. So for email, we're going to create a use state. Okay, make sure that you imported the use state over here. Then use this use state snippet. So don't click anywhere, just type the value over here. This is going to be user email. Type user email. Then what we need to do is press the tab key. By default, it's going to be an empty string. So I'm going to supply that value over here. Let's say input state is going to be user email. Then input state function is going to be user set user email. Yes, it is. Then we're going to set the type. It's going to be email, not a text type, and is sign up is going to be, by default, it's going to be the state. We're going to create a state to monitor whether the state is sign up or sign in, and then I'm just going to forward that over here. So use state state snippet. is sign up, is sign up, come on, use state snippet is sign up. Then here it's going to be false by default. Okay, by default is sign up is going to be false because we are using only sign in. By default we are displaying only the sign in, so I'm just keeping that as the false. So here I'm just going to say is sign up, save the changes, and let's see what do we got here. Nothing, because we haven't created anything inside the login input.jsx. So now let's get back to the login input.jsx. Inside this description, what I'm going to do is, okay, so I'm going to delete all these things and I'm going to say class name. Since we're going to use the object inside, I'm going to use the curly brackets and the backtick because we need to make some changes according to the values, the background color or something. Okay, so flex, it's a division. Basically it's going to be flex and everything is going to align in the center, and then justify center, and gap between the icon and the text box, it's going to be 4. Okay, and bg light overlay. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add the backdrop effect also, backdrop blur medium, and of course rounded medium. We don't need the sharp edge, and of course width is going to be full, and px is going to be 4, and py is going to be 2. Let's save the changes and let's see. Here we go. This is the style that we got. Now what we need to do, we need to bring the icons first, then we need to bring the input text. So over here we left the field icon as an empty. So let's go here, assets, and let me create a new folder called new folder first, icons. Inside this icons I'm going to create a new file, that is the index.js. so if you go through your assets folder, and if you go to the icons folder, that is on index.js. so here I exported all the icons which we are using inside this project. So just like the same way, I'm going to copy and paste that icons which we needed for this application completely. So let me copy and paste it inside the icons folder. So we are using few font awesome icons, bootstrap icons, and we are exporting everything so that we can use it whenever we needed it. So I leave this code in the description so that you can copy and paste it for yourself. So here now what we need to do, I need to send this icon from here. So what exact icon that I need to forward, that is going to be the envelope icon. So here let me copy, let me delete this, and I'm going to say envelope. So it's not showing the suggestions. Since it's not showing the suggestions, we need to import it manually. Import from /assets/icons, and we need to give it as envelope, not this one. Yeah, this one. Okay, sorry. So far envelope, and we're gonna supply the class name. Class name text excel, and the text color is going to be text color. All right, save the changes and let's see how it's looking. Where is it? Okay, here it is. Nothing is showing up. Why? Because we haven't added that icon over here. So now what we need to do is, all we have to do is to add those icons in that respective places so that it will work perfectly as it's supposed to be. Cool. Now once it's loaded, first thing is going to be your icon. So let me load the icon. Not icons, icon. Delete this icon. Now we have our icon over there. Then what we need to do, we need to bring that input field. Instead of type, we need to use the type which we are having in our hand. That is in the property which we having in our hand. Then we need to bring the placeholder right over here with our placeholder property. Then we're going to use the class name is going to be width full, height full. Then bg is going to be transparent. The text is going to be heading color, and the text size is going to be text LG, and font semi bold. So these are the styles that we added over here. Then what we need to do, we need to remove the borders and the outline. So border none, outline none. Save the changes, and that looks like this. See, there we go. So then what we need to do is, all we have to do is to collect the values, right? So by default, the value is going to be our state value. That means your input state value, which is an empty string. Then on change, I need to collect that value to our state. Whenever the on change event is triggered, we're going to call this arrow function, and the event will be fired up. And I'm going to say input state function. I'm going to say e.target.value. I'm going to fetch that value, and I'm going to update the state. So this state will be updated, so the value will get updated. Save the changes. Now whenever I'm typing something, the state value will get updated. We got that email address in our state, so that we can use that state over here to save it into our database. Fine. So then what we need to do is, like, I need to change the background. Whenever it is focused, I need to change the background color. So what I'm going to do is, to do that, I'm going to create a state separately, use state snippet, and I'm going to say is focus. If it is focus, by default it's going to be false. All right, if it is focus, then what we need to do, if that is focused, I'm just going to say change the background color. If is focus, that is true, then show the shadow as the MD, and the shadow should be in the red 400. Otherwise, shadow should be none. Shadow none. Save the changes. Fine. Now still nothing is happening. So what we need to do is, we need to add the on focus event. Whenever it's got focused, let's call this function over here, and let's say set is focus as true. We'll change it to true. Then once the focus is gone, that means on blur, that means it's out of focus, then we'll call this arrow function set is focus as false. Save changes. Now over here you can see, if I click it, now it's focused, so that you can see the shadow. If I click out, it will gone. If I click this, it will be there. If I click out, it will be gone. Look at that. It's awesome, right? So just like the same way, all we have to do is to bring one by one inside. So let's go here, and then let's copy this field, and then we need to bring it everything one by one inside. In the meanwhile, we already install the framer motion, right? We installed the framer motion. So we need to add some animations also. See here, when I click sign in and I click create here, you can see it's coming in a little bit slow, like a fade in animation. So we need to do that animation as well. So that's the reason we added the framer motion. So the next, what we're going to do, we're going to bring two different fields, and we're going to do that next. Okay, then, so let's get back here. And now what we need to do is we have to copy this. Let's go here, and we have to paste a few more times to bring the necessary fields here. So let's go here. Now what we need to do is, I'm going to create one more field for password. We're going to create one more field for the password. So what we can do, we can say use state snippet, and we can say password. By default, it's going to be null. And then we're going to create one more that is confirm password, and that is also going to be empty string for the time being. Let's go back here. Let me copy it and paste it one more time. Save the changes, and this time this is going to be password here, and instead of this icon I'm going to use the lock icon, font awesome lock icon. Then I'm going to supply the password here, and I'm going to supply the set password field here, and this is going to be password field, and is sign up, of course it's going to be there. Save the changes, and now we have our password field here. Just like the same way, we need to display the confirm password also, but confirm password should be displayed only if sign up is true. Is sign up, then we need to display that field. Let's copy this, let's paste it here, and this is going to be confirm password here, and this is confirm password, this is set confirm password, password field, everything is same. What we are missing? Oh, this one. Save the changes, and now it's not showing. The reason it's not showing because the is sign up is a state that is empty, so that will be updated whenever, if you're displaying already have an account, sign in here. When you click this, that will be changed. See, it's changing the text as well, and it's changing that button as well, that text field as well. So let's go ahead and bring that option now. So right after this division, or right inside the division itself, right after here, I'm going to create a paragraph. Okay, so this paragraph, it's basically, if you check over here, see here, if this is sign in, I already have an account. Okay, so if it is a sign up option, it's showing the registration option here, so it's showing I already have an account, sign in here. If I click sign in, if it's showing the message it doesn't have an account, create here. So that's the text, the two different texts showing based on that is sign up state, this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create like if not is sign up. That means if not, basically by default it's false. That means if it is true, what do you want to display? If it is not true, what do you want to display? If it is true, I'm going to bring one paragraph tag over here. Then if it is false, I'm going to bring another one paragraph tag over here. So inside this paragraph, I'm just going to say doesn't have an account. Doesn't have an account. Let's keep that change. Let's keep that thing over here. Say the changes, and let's see what is it showing. It's showing doesn't have an account. So now we need to create one here. That's what we need to do. Okay, so now here in this place, what we're going to do is basically it's going to be a button, but it's going to be like a plain text, but we're going to keep a button over there. So I'm going to bring a button, and then I'm going to make that button as a motion dot button. Okay, so we need to import a motion, which is basically coming from framer motion. It's not showing anything. All right, so let it import it manually. Then import from framer motion. So here I'm gonna say motion. Cool. So here what we're gonna do is I'm going to say motion dot button. Let's close it. So the reason why we're gonna create the motion button is, so let's go to the framer motion. Let me go to the framer motion. So framer motion is a lightweight animation framework which helps mainly work most powerful on React applications. So you can go through their documentations like how to create an animation with a nice presentation and all those things, and you can see there are lots and lots of examples. For instance, if I tap this, you can see it's have this smooth transition effects which is easily done by using the motion framer motion. Okay, so to get started with the framer motion, first we need to import the animate presence. We need to go to our index.js file. Let's go back to the index.js file where it is over here, index.js file. So here we need to import one package, import from framer motion. We're going to use the animate presence, and we need to wrap this complete app inside the animate presence, and we need to bring this app over, not there, over there. Save the changes, and let's get back to the login input. Oops, I closed it. So bring that login over there, login, and here what I'm going to do is while tab. Whenever you're clicking it, that's the while tab. Whenever you're clicking it, I'm going to say scale. We're going to reduce the scale, that means the complete width and height, to 0.95 or something. Save the changes, and here I'm just going to say create one. So let's go back here and let's go here, and now if I click this, you can see there is a little wobble effect. That's the reason we use that one. Okay, but instead of every time, because we're gonna have a multiple buttons, so I can't keep on write these things in every places. So what we can do is we can create a separate folder called animations, and we can keep that inside that animations folder. So let's go ahead and right click your source folder, right click source folder, and create the animations. Let's go here, source, right click, new folder, animations. Inside the animations folder, new file, index.js. Now what I'm going to do is to just cut this line from here, and let's go here. I'm going to create an export const button click. We're going to create an arrow function, button click is equals, and here while tab, instead of this double curly bracket, single curly brackets, it's one deleted. Save the changes, just like that. It should be an object. So now here we need to spread that operator. We need to spread out this particular variable, so that what we can do, open this, and I'm going to use the spread operator, and I'm going to say button click, which is coming from our animation. So that will spread this complete detail over here. Save the changes, and now still the output will be same. You will get that the function is what you find. Now I can use that same animation code wherever I needed it. Cool, right? So let's go back to the login, and let's customize this button a little bit more. So I'm just going to add a little bit styles. Class name is equals, so text red 400 underline, and cursor as a pointer, and bg transparent. Save the changes. But I think that's pretty awesome, right? So now what we're going to do is I'm going to copy this exact paragraph, paste it over here. Okay, so instead of doesn't have an account, we're going to change this to already having or have an account. Fine. Then we just gonna say here as sign in here, and I'm going to add an on click event, on click, and I'm going to change that sign in set as sign up as true. Okay, and over here we're gonna change this button. So copy this and paste it over here, and I'm going to change this to false. Save changes. Let's get back here. If I click this, it's going to be I already have an account sign in here, and we got our sign up the confirm password field. And if I click sign in, it's gone back. Cool, right? So now we need to add some fade in, fade out animation as well for our login input. So let's get back to our login input. So I'm going to change this division. So press double click that division word and press Ctrl D or Command D. So that will highlight that term. And I'm going to say motion.div, not this one, motion.div. And I'm going to import that motion as well. Import or type motion. Yes. So we imported that motion statement. And we're going to do the fade in and fade out animation. Okay, fade in out animation. This is going to be quite different. So initially, what you need to give the initial state of your animation. So initial state is going to be, opacity is going to be 0. Okay, and we're gonna animate it to opacity to 1, and the exit stage is also going to be the same. Change this to exit. So now we're going to use this animation. So now we can see create, and it's having the nice animation over there. Cool, right? Now what we need to do is we need to make this as a reusable. So let me cut it from here and let me go to the animation, and I'm going to create a new function, export cost fade in out equals, I'm going to paste it over here and hold your Alt key and create a multi-cursor editor. Delete this and put colon over there and move to the end. Delete this and add comma over there. Save the changes. Now we have that awesome object over here. Let's go back to the login input.jsx and let's spread out that login input, not login input, fade in out. Cool. Now it should have exact same animation which we had added over there. Fine, right? So we successfully added that login input animations and all those things. Of course, we need to change one more thing. If you notice here, it should change this to sign up now. If you click it, it should change to sign in again. So we need to get back to the login and let's scroll to the top. This is the place. I'm just going to cut it out and I'm going to say if is sign up. What we need to do, if it is not sign up, we need to keep it as, okay, let's keep it, if it is sign up, we can keep it as sign up. If it is not, we will keep it as sign in. Save the changes. Let's get back here. Now it's showing sign in, create, now it's showing sign up. Cool. We finished that. Then what we need to do, we need to bring this button, this nice and sick button over there, right after here. Exactly. So let's go ahead and create that now. So what we need to do is, this is going to be the button section. Enter. And I'm going to create this as a motion dot button. And of course, it's going to have that button click events. Cool. And this button is going to be sign up. SIGN, sign up. Okay. And then we're going to add some classes over here. Class name, which is going to be width is going to be full, and px is going to be 4, and py it's going to be 2. Let's see what does we have. We have like this. Nothing look exactly the same. We're going to change. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to make this rounded MD, and then we need to change the BG red color 400, and we'll change this to cursor pointer and keep this as a text white color, and text size is going to be XL, and we're going to keep it as the capitalize, and on hover I'm going to change the big BG red color to 500, and transition is going to be all, and then duration is going to be 150 seconds. Let's see. Look at that. So we successfully created the button. But what we need to do, we need to change it for sign in and sign up as well. So let's cut it out. Cut it. And I'm just gonna say, like, if it is sign up, then is sign up. If it is sign up, then we need to bring that. If it is not, we need to display something else. So if it is sign up, it should show sign up. If it is sign in, it should show sign in. So we have two different buttons. So if I click sign up, it will show sign in. If I sign up here, it will show sign up. Cool. So we have that button now. Then what we need to do is to bring these two different lines like this, right? Basically, this is a complete division. This is a division, this is a text, and this is a division. And that's what we're gonna do next. Create these two different. So right exactly where we need to create that line is just after this division. Over here, we need to bring that line. So here, I'm just going to say, first I'm going to bring a complete division, and we're going to say that as flux item center. We're going to say that flux item center and justify between, and gap should be 16 at least minimum. Then I'm going to create a division which is going to be width as W24 and height is going to be 1 pixel. Basically we don't have 1 pixel, so we need to type it by ourselves to give the custom values. So you need to open a square bracket and then type your custom values over there, then rounded empty, and VG is going to be white. Save the changes, and now you can see a line over here. See, this is that line. So what we're going to do is copy and paste it one more time. In between, I'm going to create that paragraph. Class name is going to be text white, and that is going to be R. Look at that, like this. So then what we need to do, we need to bring that sign in with Google button. This one, sign in with Google button. So let's go ahead. This division, it's finishing here. That's going to be the motion.div. Enter. And this division is going to have button click animation. And of course, it's going to have some classes styles. Class name is equals with. So first we need to use the flux item center and justify center. And px is going to be 20, and py it's going to be 2, and then pg light overlay backdrop blur md, and let's see, here we go. This is how it looks now. Then what we need to do, we need to change this to cursor as a pointer. Then we need to make this rounded 3 pixel minimum so that we can get a curve perfectly. Then we need to change, we need to add some gap in between, because we're gonna load that this icon and of course this text, so there should be some gap between them. So inside this division right now, I'm gonna bring that icon first. So that icon is FC Google, which is coming from your assets icons folder. And then I'm going to supply the class name for it, which is text 3x. Then we're going to bring a paragraph, which is sign in with Google. Then class name, it's going to be capitalize. We're going to use the capitalize, and text base is the text size. And then text heading color is going to be our text color. Look at that, like this. We have a nice wobble effect for both of the buttons. So then what we need to do is, all we have to do is to connect the Firebase with our server. Then we need to create the API endpoints to collect the details from the front end and to validate the refresh token. And that's what we're gonna do next.